Hello my paper peeps, welcome to my channel. Today I will be showing you how to create a pop-up embellishment for your scrapbook journals. If you're new to my channel, my name is Christine and I love to scrapbook, create cards, and journal, all with the intention of connecting with others and creating a legacy that can be enjoyed for years to come. Right now, my crafting community and I are in the last leg of completing this journal. We're currently in the botanical series, and if you're new and want some interesting tips and techniques on how I pulled this all together, then wait till the end of this video where I'll place some links to videos in this series. But for now, let's focus on creating a pop-up for your scrapbook journal. As you complete your scrapbook journals, there's always scraps of paper from your paper pack that you've used, and let's be honest, after a year of crafting with this color palette, you're not going to go back to it anytime soon. So let's use up as much as possible, and in my next few videos, including this one, I'm going to show you just how to do that. In this botanical series, it's only fitting that I embellish with butterflies. Why? Because I absolutely love them. On top of the fact that butterflies seem to infuse this journal with every page turned. The first thing you want to do is pull out any scraps you may have and any butterfly dies and punches. Now, if you don't have any butterfly punches or dies, you can actually make your own by tracing an image out on paper. Seeing as these butterflies are going to be folded, that process is quite easy. Now you'll need 4 butterflies to complete this pop-up butterfly. Some people use only 3 butterflies, but I like to use 4 in this case. Now, once you've completed your butterflies, the one thing you want to do, you want to layer them on top of one another and then fold them in half. It makes it easier to put together when they're folded. And what I like to do with this paper, this was actually paper that was in the journal and I pulled it out of there. I didn't need it, and so these are the scraps that I'm using for the butterflies. And just to add some interest to it, I just like to stamp them. The next thing I like to do with these butterflies and any embellishment that I have is ink the edges. And the reason why I do that is that it just lends this border around the embellishment and really concentrates the eye inward and solidifies that image a little bit better. I'm trying to figure out what terms to use here, but that's kind of the best idea that I can think of at this point. And then in this case, it makes it look more vintage. So when it comes to inking your edges, you can use archival inks or distress inks. In this case, I use the distress ink, but just to let you know the difference between the two, distress inks are water-based dyes. They dry a little slower than other water-based inks, so you can actually emboss them. I'm not going to show you that here, but in my next journal series, I will actually show you how I use both distress inks and archival inks in the journal. Now, archival inks are permanent. They're non-fading and they're resistant to light, heat, and water. And because they have a different base than your distress inks, you can actually color and watercolor over them and they won't bleed or smear. But again, I won't show you that here. I'll show you that in another video. I just want to show you that you can use either or as your ink to ink edges. Okay, once you've inked the edges, what you want to do is take one butterfly and you flip it over. And this will be the base of your pop-up butterfly. And you glue the left side, and then you add another butterfly onto it with the printing sticking out. And then you flip that right wing over, and then you add another butterfly to it. And then you do the exact same process with the next butterfly. And then after you've placed that fourth butterfly on, then you adhere its last wing or its right wing to the first image or the first butterfly that you have. Now I'm going to show you this a few times in a few other butterflies that I did, just so you get the hang of it. Now when it comes to putting these butterflies together, I like using these glue pens. The one pen I like to use is the Zig memory system. For some reason, it has not failed me, because a lot of the times with these squeeze pens, they get really gunked up after you've used it, and sometimes it's really hard to dislodge or get that glue dislodged from the tip. So this one has been my favorite for, oh gosh, the last decade. So I really like it. It's a fine ballpoint pen, and it's squeeze and roll and go. And it's actually acid-free, so go to town on that one. There's no hard fast rule that you have to use 4. I actually used, in this case, I used only 3. One thing I like to do is add gems to the spines. Now the one thing you have to understand is that the spine, once it's placed in the book and the book closes, those gems will interfere with the closing of the book. So my suggestion is that when you place the gems onto the spine, you actually offset them. So don't place them directly on the spine, but maybe off to the right a little bit, so that when the book closes, it doesn't interfere with the actual closing mechanism, or else what'll happen is those gems will actually pop off. And the one thing I found when making these little pop-up butterflies is that you cannot use large gems. As much as you want to, you can't. Not in the spine anyways, it just doesn't work. They were popping off, or they were just being pushed off to the side, and it was so off-center, it didn't look great. So, sorry. That's just the way it is if you want to make these cool little pop-ups. Okay, isn't that cute? That's so adorable. Anyways, I love it. It's great. And if you found this video to be helpful, make sure you stamp that like button so this can spread to the rest of our crafting community. Thank you. I really hope you enjoyed this video. Take care, and we'll see you in my other videos. Bye.